Pushing Up Daisies coincides with the National Dying Matters Week, a festival that will start some conversations. And if we can have some of those conversations now, we think it will make it a tiny bit easier at the end.
When your friends die, when the mist clings to the mountain, lingering it seems forever, when in the small hours shadows stalk, then is the time for poetry. Willow the whispering candles recur, glimmering in the rawness, burning, suffering, splittering, love. So that from all that lonely bruising we can be more. Many hands will hold us as we continue to hold each other. Across the black lake, pinpoints of light are holding too. Here is love, weaving her thread, weaving her soft blanket to cushion the unfathomable cradle.
He rushed up his ladder, tore out of the church as fast as his legs could carry him, leaving the church door open. What did they do with the old bones? I shall come to that later. That's one of the spooky parts.
I was in hospital for 7 days. Everyone was brilliant. That's the most disturbing image I've had. If anyone wants to have a fiddle with this, the mask, that is. One thing me and Wayne did do was honesty in conversations.
To me, it's really important that we pass these stories down to the next generation, extrapolating the wisdom of this person. People settle into a connectedness with their past, with their ancestors, navigating a path around it so that we don't get too enmeshed in stuff sometimes.
This is very accessible, there are a lot of people involved, incredible generosity of the people who are offering workshops and performances, and all the kind of generous, spirited environment.
Both of us work as independent celebrants, but for me it's not just funerals.
I'm very interested in the authenticity of ceremony when we write and use our own words.
She drew this as her grief. Interesting, isn't it? Our life expands.
I think we've got an amazing community here to be able to talk about really deeply personal things with somebody that you've never met before, and to be able to share and not feel alone in all of these topics that we're talking about here. I think it's really important.
Personal connection, I just feel that I can do my best work because I give of myself. Every funeral I do, I give of myself.
Been involved for the last 3 years, just volunteering and stuff really. Being a daisy for a couple of years, being around if anybody wants to talk about anything to do with death or dying.
You don't have to be a genius to think talking about death has got to be a good thing.
Our undertaker is rooted in community, passionate about his job and kind beyond belief.
You don't have to think about your own mortality actively for this festival to touch you or for you to get into. There's loads of stuff which is really fun that you don't have to get freaked out about.
The idea, from my point of view, is building up those conversations in quite a light touch way so that if, as happened recently at another school locally, that there is a sudden death of a parent or a teacher or a child, that they're a bit more better equipped to deal with it. That's the long-term aim of this sort of thing. And also that it's not scary for them then to have conversations about death and dying, really.
These kids got their parents talking about death and dying. That was socially really clever, I think, and you know, the primary school even better.
I've been to 2 poetry workshops. I've been to bereavement through suicide workshop. I've been to the Death Cafe. I've just found it's been a kind of process this week. I realised I had a lot of anger around death, and I've worked through that quite a lot, and I actually feel lighter.
An advanced statement of wishes and preferences, it can help people make decisions if somebody can't make them for themselves. But the other great thing is it is fluid. We talked about that. What I want people to understand is that that's no less valid than the man that says, I don't want to die at home for these reasons. Clearly that's terribly important, but for this woman to stay herself by looking like as much like her normal self as she could. And I think there's a massive need for hospices as organisations with a voice in the care of people who are dying to push for similar services to be available at home when they're needed, such as hospice at home, if it's needed.
I think it's enormously rich, very important, very special, and I shall tell everybody about it. I think go to Pushing Up Daisies in Todmorden and it'll change your life, if not your death.